Happy Friday. This is Paul Leeson from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. On the eve of the Memorial Weekend, it's going to be a different weekend this year the most with the happenings of COVID. However, everyone's probably headed to Traverse City now that the upper part of the Lower Peninsula is free to open restaurants. So probably US 131 North is looking pretty busy today and probably tomorrow. Anyhow, I've been in different conversations with various people, and obviously COVID is one of the discussion points. And the other one is always Grand Rapids and the housing market and what's going on with real estate right now. So I thought I'd put together some information that we received through Berkshire Hathaway and just go through and look at 2020 and how it started and what the effect of COVID has been on the real estate market. I'm just going to share my screen a second with some data that I have here. So what we're looking at here is 2020, and also 2020 is the red line, and the other bars on here are 16, 17, 18, 19. So if we look at the start of the year, 2020, we had 759 sales versus 753 back in 2016. So we had the most amount of sales in January and in February over even the past 5 years. March, we see slightly slowing up here, but still higher than last year and almost on par with 2018 numbers and 912. So the shutdown started 3/13 and went through 5/13. So we knew this would have an effect on the real estate sales and transactions. People not able to go and view houses, so that was always going to slow things down. In April, then we see a more significant effect. So April here, we're 25% lower than in March, and significantly, we're 36% lower than April of 2016. So that, we are seeing this effect here from March down to April of the real estate sales. Next page. Here we're looking at the residential sales closed this year in red versus the average of the last 5 years. So just kind of normalizing the numbers. And again, we see a very strong start to 2020. We are tracking for a very strong year. In March, we fall slightly behind the 5-year average, but nothing critical there. But then in April, obviously, the numbers go down because of the less sales. People stay-at-home order. So we're seeing that drop. And in May, we're going to see this drop as well. Currently in May, we've got 308 closed transactions. So we've still got another week or so to run. So that will go up. However, we're going to see a drop there again due to the shutdown, the stay-at-home. Transactions were happening, but it was a lot of the transactions that went through were contingent on a final walkthrough by the owner, and then a lot of those actually fell through after the walkthrough. Year-to-date transactions closed. Picture's looking pretty good here. We were up in January, up in February, 759 versus 753 in 2016, which was a very strong year. And then in March, we're seeing the numbers actually, pretty much on par with 2016. And then in April, they drop down a little bit. Again, in May, we're going to see these fall. And then hopefully as things have opened back up now, we'll see more closed transactions in June. So a closed transaction is the actual sale at the title office, the closing where the money and the keys are exchanged. So that's usually 30 days on, minimum around about 30 days on from when you do the actual contract. You sign a contract, typical 30 days, some less, some more. So we expect to see, I expect to see the trend going back up, and we're getting this, the red bar is going to be coming back up further up in June, July, August, if things return back to a more normal. What is good though, and what's showing very strong for our market, and this is the GRAR market, so this extends outside of Grand Rapids and the surrounding areas, is is the sales volume, the dollar volume. So here we're seeing that, yes, January, February, March, we were way ahead, even with that towards the end of March where we had less sales. The dollar value of the sales were at $597 million here, which is over almost 120 million more than what we did last year. So you can see where the average sales price of the other properties is pushing this number up, even with less sales. In terms of transactions, the sale volume in terms of dollars is higher. And even in April, we're still ahead by over $50 million. And that's testimony to the strength of the property market. The housing average price is always on the up, and that's kept this number high. In May, possibly see it drop down a little bit just because of the volume. Again, is the number of transactions is gonna fall low. But again, shows that we have a strong market. Low inventory is pushing the price up. I'm going to skip through these slides here up to 13. Just goes 13 shows here the distribution of the closed residential by price range. So back in 2014, for instance, we had like 932 sales in that year under $50,000. Now we have 69 in 2019. The price point is on a shift upwards. Again, in the 50 to 100,000, we're seeing this decline of the number of properties trading in that price range because everything is trading up. So when we're moving up in price range here to 100, 150, again, it's going down because most of the properties now are trading in this 150 to 200 and then 200 to 300,000. You see this trend line going up. And the higher price point, 300 to 500,000, this trend line is going up on a steep incline, and even in the $500,000 up to $1 million on the upward trend. So that's it's kind of expected. That's inflation, but some of these trend lines are very steep. So overall, property market is still strong in Grand Rapids area. We're bolstered by very good industries. We've got medical, we've got automotive. We've got the furniture industry, we've got technology here, we've got with Switch, we've got Amazon. So we've got a lot of good and diverse business here, which is bringing people to Grand Rapids. So yes, the COVID-19 is certainly going to put a dent in our transactions in this typically very strong spring market. But what we hope to see is that coming back in the coming months here now. So what we really need is inventory. I've got buyers at the moment and the inventory is very low. So we're struggling to find property. So I think once confidence comes back within the general public, that will bring more properties on the market. So I think people are just holding back a little at the moment just because they don't know whether they will be able to buy if they sell their property. Anyhow, all that, hopefully that's of interest to you. I wish you all a great Memorial weekend. The weather's not doing as good as I hoped. Forecast no rain today, and then we've got a steady drizzle coming down here on the deck. But I plan to go outside, grill out, put some chicken wings on the smoker. So I wish you all a great weekend and hope this information was of use to you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. And we have a lot more data there. That was just a very brief summary. So thanks. Bye for now.